if you live on Long Island, you know her. She is an Emmy-award winning anchor of News 12. We see her through snowstorms and politicians and all kinds of things. This is the first time, however, she's telling her personal story, and I, for one, am really looking forward to it. Please welcome Carol Silva.
Tim, you're killing me, guys. Really. I said it back there, I'm a virgin, it's my maiden voyage. So, hi. Hi. I'm gonna give you a little history here. I have a long dating history. I also have a long history of dating Bobs. There was Bob, the high school crush. There was Bob, the college phys ed major. There was Bob, the cop. There was Bob, the lawyer. I'm not kidding. There was Bob, the TV director. But Bob, the TV director, got a name change. Bob, the TV director, became Bob, the husband. It's 1991. Bob and I are getting married. It's going to be the wedding of the century. I mean, this is going to be awesome. So what do I do first? I go to Kleinfeld's. I get the dress. They suggest it, not my idea. I get the dress. Now, as a point of reference, think Gone with the Wind, think Scarlett O'Hara. She's trying to impress Red. She rips the curtains off the wall. She makes a dress, and it's big. Fast forward 100 years. Carol Burnett is telling the story, and when she tells it, she leaves a curtain rod in, and the dress is this big. That's my dress. So Bob and I are planning the wedding of the century, and we're getting married in a century-old church. We're getting married at St. Dominic in Oyster Bay, and it's gorgeous. It has these Tiffany windows in the side, and I know we're getting married at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the sun is going to come in just as I'm walking down that aisle, and I'm going to be bathed in this beautiful light. I am going to be gorgeous. The day of the wedding comes, Bob and I have invited 150 close friends, and that's not huge by Long Island standards. We get to the back of the church. It's this gorgeous church, and they open the back doors. And there are like 250, 300 people there because everybody said, hey, you want to see the news girl get married? Come on, come on. So now I'm looking, all I want to do is I want to get to the front. Up front on the altar are 2 priests. Why? Because we're Catholic. Because we're really Catholic. Walking me down the aisle, not 1 parent, but 2. Because I'm really Catholic and I do things in a big way. So we start to walk down the aisle, and all of a sudden I realize, on one side I have my mother, Carol Frances Fitzsimon Silva, and on the other side I have my father, Alfonso Ramon Salazar Silva. Irish, Mexican, think Lucy and Ricky-ish. So we're starting to walk down the aisle. Now, I'm in the dress. The church is 100 years old, so the aisle is this big. So I know it might be a little challenging to get up there to the 2 priests, the 2 videographers, and the 1 still photographer. Why 2 videographers? Because it's a sacrament. And so I want more video there because I'm very Catholic. Only one of the videographers is going to the reception. So we start to walk up the aisle, and I'm thinking, this is going slowly. There's no flow. What's happening? And I realize, so with my smile, I'm saying, Dad, you're stepping on my dress. Dad, you're stepping on my dress. But he can't hear me because this is what he hears. Hi, it's nice to see you. Thanks for coming. Hey, welcome. And I realize somebody's told him he's the grand marshal of my wedding, that it's not my wedding. We get up to the front eventually. The church is such a blast that only 1 videographer, as I said, is supposed to be going to the reception with us. But the second goes, you gotta let me come. And we said, it's your dime. If you want to come ahead. Which was a really good idea because when you're at a wedding reception where the wedding song is Meat Loaf's Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, that tells you what you need to know. Life is grand. This is September of '91. We roll into October, November. Bob and I are living in a Victorian that we've renovated. December's coming. We go looking for a tree. We get something just shy of Rockefeller Center size. Life is amazing. And then I get the Christmas miracle. I'm pregnant. Now it's a miracle because years earlier I had a 4.5-hour tumor surgery. So the fact that I'm pregnant is pretty freaking awesome. Life is great. It's December, it's January, it's February, and we hit March. Ricky Ricardo is retired. He's now going to church every morning with my mother because she read the Irish How to Become a Saint handbook, and the way that you do it is you go to Mass every morning. And if you go every single morning, even when you don't feel like it, then maybe not only do you go to heaven, but you get to bring in a kid. Well, it's me, and it's my two brothers, and one of my brothers needed a little more help than the other brother, so my mother went to church at least once a day every day. Now that Dad's retired, Dad is going to church with Mom in the morning as well. And there's this day in March, and all of a sudden Dad sits down in the pew during this, and he says, "We gotta leave." "What's the matter?" He says, "I don't feel it. I don't feel well at all. We have to leave. I'm sweating. You have to take me to the hospital." Now you have to understand, this guy is tough. Dad was born in El Paso. When he was 2 and his sister was 4, their mother died. His father said, "I don't raise babies," and sent them to Santa Monica to be raised by their grandparents. Their father went back to Mexico. During the Depression, that house got crowded because more people lost jobs, more people lost homes, so more aunts, uncles, cousins moved into that place. It was an interesting place. With it being crowded, the grandparents were really in charge, and they taught the kids to be quiet. We used to make fun of my father for this. When we would all be, dinner in our house was 45 minutes. It was incredible conversation. There was all kinds of laughter. And when we were exploding in laughter, this was Dad. And I think that that's a throwback to so many people in the house where you were supposed to be quiet. And that was kind of how his lessons were too. My kids make fun of me because every day it's a lesson. One of my daughter's friends got in the car one day and she said, "Okay, Carol, what's the lesson for today?" But see, the thing with Dad's lessons were, he was setting you up for this lesson, and before you knew it, the lesson was there. But he never told you what the conclusion was. He didn't tell you how to think. He was teaching us to think. So here's this man now, this tough guy, who lived in that house that got so crowded he was finally pushed the last year he lived there as a teenager to living on a blanket under the back porch with a light bulb hanging from a wire. Think Mexican Harry Potter. But he's there because there's no room for him. He joins the military, the United States Navy. He becomes a naval corpsman for 20 years, and he serves the 1st Marine Division. He's shipped off to the South Pacific, and he spends time in Okinawa, in Guadalcanal. He's pulling out these young guys, and with all he can, spit and tape and scissors and thread, and he's trying to save their lives. This is the guy who's sitting now in Holy Family Church in Hicksville saying, "You better get me to the doctor now. You better get me to the hospital." Mom takes him to the hospital. We meet her there. Dad has 100 seizures that day. It begins a 6-month odyssey. Dad slips into a coma. We're Catholic. We come, we stay, we pray. Every day, 24/7, one of us is with him. There's the hospital smells. There's the hospital sounds. There's the beep, the bloop on the things. There's nothing from Dad. There are the hospital gowns, those lovely blue gowns that the patients are in. And I swear, those scrubs that the nurses wear, they must have something zipped back here where they poke those angels' wings in, because you know they're angels, those nurses. But one day I leave. Now, I get up, at that time I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work. I would go to work for 9 hours, then I would drive to Long Island Jewish Hillside Medical Center with a really big parking lot. So there's the smelly smells inside, the awful food. Remember, I'm pregnant now. It's March, I'm 3 months pregnant. I want to vomit just at hello. And I'm exhausted because I'm 9 hours, 10 hours into my day, a few hours in the hospital. And now it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm standing in the parking lot one day and I just start crying. And a woman came up to me and she said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Well, I'm pregnant. I can't find my car." Because we had been there so many weeks, and who knew 3, 4, from B5 to I. And she said, "Sweetheart, it's called pregnancy dementia. Get in my car." She drove me around, we found my car. I came back the next day. And that was the day they said, "I'm sorry, but we have to disconnect your dad because he has no brain activity." And we said, "You can't. you don't know Tony Silva. You don't get it? He's Tony, he's the Silva, we don't quit, no. I go home that night and I come up with a plan. I come back the next day and I bring my transistor radio. And I pin it, safety pin it to his mattress, because I'm a journalist. And this guy is not only going to come out of a coma, but when he does, he will know the day. He will know the headlines. He will know who is president. He'll know how the weather is, how the Yankees are doing. And he's also going to know the traffic still sucks on the Long Island Expressway. I come back the next day, and the nurse says, "Oh, who brought the radio in?" And I said, "I did." And she said, "That was great. That was an $800 air mattress." And I went, "Oops." Time goes on. It's a couple of weeks. I don't know, maybe it was the radio, maybe not. Now it's Holy Saturday. It's the day before Easter, when we're going to celebrate Jesus rising from the dead. And it's a Saturday, so we're all there. My brothers are able to be there during the day. We're all there. And all of a sudden we're looking. Are his eyes moving behind his eyelids? Are his feet moving at all? Do you see it? Am I crazy? About an hour later, Tony Silva opened his eyes and says, despite a trach, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here?" And we said, "Wait until we tell you what you're doing here, pal." This is the beginning of the next saga, okay? It's like the next chapter in all of this, because now he has to learn to walk again. He has to learn so much. So we spent months more in the hospital and rehab. And one day I'm standing along the hospital bed, and all of a sudden, "Oh!" And he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "The baby." And Dad said, "What baby?" And I said, "Dad, I'm pregnant." And like a good Catholic father, he said, "You are what?" And I said, "Dad, I'm married." And he said, "You're married?" Short-term memory loss, calm. And I said, "Daddy, I'm married. That big wedding, remember I'm married?" He goes, "Well, who'd you marry?" And I said, "Bob." And he said, "Which one?" So I go on to tell my brothers, God decided I needed brothers, not a sister. And this is what you get for that. I tell my brothers, "You're not going to believe what happened." And then Daddy said, "You're pregnant." And then I said, "Yes." And "You're married. You're married. Who? Oh, the one I like." And my brother said, "Well, did you ask him which Bob he likes?" And I said, "No. That man lived for 8 more years. He saw that baby receive her first Holy Communion. He saw the baby 17 months later grow up and receive his communion. But for 8 years, anytime anybody said, "So Dad, which Bob was the Bob you liked?" his response was, but I have to tell you, what do I know now? It was just another one of those lessons. Just information. Just putting it out there. The conclusion was, for me, was it the Bob that I liked? And the answer was yes. And 27 years later, the answer is yes. Thank you.